toward a necessity of a change of scenery. I think that is a very tricky definition, very tricky, I guess, consensus to bring to a player or a coach. One that I think of that actually I think for both sides is deserving, and we talked about it a little after they lost their playoff game, was what the Pittsburgh Steelers and Mike Tomlin have going on. Mike Tomlin is somebody who is successful, who is integral to what the Steelers do, who is probably a top 30% NFL coach in the league, probably top 20% if we're being honest, and he is somebody who desperately needs a change of pace.
Yeah, and I'm sick of hearing Squealer fan telling me how much they hate Tomlin. It
depends which guy you talk to. Some Steeler fans love Tomlin, and they're either sick of
it. If I talk to the Steeler fans that I talk to, it's mediocre Mike, and then they're living in what do they call it? Groundhog Day. Okay, their Groundhog Day is win 10 games, lose in the playoffs, have a bad draft pick, miss on the draft pick, and then just repeat and rinse and recycle.
Let him go try to reach a new height somewhere else. That is not going to change in Pittsburgh, in my opinion. That is worthy of the needs a change of scenery tag.
You want to know what I think it is? Steeler fans found the hard truth of life after Ben Roethlisberger and how hard it is at not having a franchise quarterback. And that's why I think Mike Tomlin is a great coach. Look at the quarterbacks he's been able to win 10 games with. Look at what he's dealing with at the most important position in football. Okay, Kenny Pickett, Russell Wilson. Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me? Wilson had his moments, and he wasn't awful with Sean Payton in Denver too. They won 8 games last year.
But Colin, this isn't Russell. I understand the point, but this isn't Russell Wilson who played for the Seahawks and arguably should have won 2 Super Bowls if they hand the ball off to Marshawn Lynch. Would you agree?
Yeah, it's not that same Russell Wilson, but it's also the same Russell Wilson that beat the Washington 28-27 when he was throwing the ball all over the field.
But you see my point. Like Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, Kenny Pickett. I even forget who it was after Roethlisberger for a little bit. I think there was a year where they didn't have Pickett, and I'm forgetting who it was. Mason Rudolph, thank you. Yeah, Oklahoma State, their draft pick from 10 years ago. They if they had a quarterback.
Miles Garrett knows him well.
Colin, if they had a quarterback, I think that they would be better off. And obviously it doesn't take a brain surgeon to tell you that. But I think Steeler fans have been very spoiled for so long with great quarterback play dating back to Roethlisberger for the last 15 years.
Yeah, I can't listen to that because the Steelers could use a Hall of Famer? Yeah, a lot of teams could use a Hall of Famer. But what they got at that position was not the worst part, not the weak link of that team. That team had bigger issues in terms of the complementary staff and the offensive coordination and all of that comparatively.
To that point, I think I thought Artie Smith was the same, near the same hire as Canada. I don't know what was different.
I wouldn't include that. I would include Tomlin in a change of scenery because I think he'd help a bad team become good. That is the type of piece that a bad team needs. He is not the good to become great. He is the bad to become good. That is somebody who could utilize a change of scenery. That is somebody who I think is worthy of that criteria.
Would he want to? He's
Mr.
Pittsburgh.
So he knows he wants to, and we're not going to see it. But that's somebody who, my opinion, I think that's another change of scenery. Is Kyler Murray a change of scenery?
Probably. Been
there for 5 or 6 years.
I'm not. I think Kyler is a top 15 quarterback in the NFL. I think on his best day he could be top 8. But I'm not. He's too streaky for me.
He's erratic.
He's very streaky. You'll see Kyler be a top echelon quarterback one week, and then you'll see him completely play his team out of there. But Colin, to your point, the Cardinals. What favors have the Cardinals done him since they lost that playoff game to the Rams? What favors has Arizona done? I don't think Gannon's that bad of a coach, but at the same time, that's a roster that doesn't have a lot of talent right now.
Yep. I mean, they have Marvin Harrison Jr. just sitting there, and they're still waiting to figure out how to use him. But I understand both sides. Right. Maybe that would just be mutually beneficial on either side. Is maybe the right team, the right quarterback, the right quarterback coach can get something out of him comparatively. So I think there might be something there on a mutual beneficial split. That's just my takeaway.
And let's not forget the rumors of him playing Call of Duty, video game issues, the film stuff. There was that. Okay. There was that. I don't.
You know how good you have to be to get drafted top 10 in sports? He is not a video game problem.
My thing is, just because, and you're talking to a major gamer here, folks, I think when you play a lot of video games, you get this stigmatism of, I think that's what happened there. I think the media overblew it, and that was the situation. But, the Cardinals kind of got caught with their pants down with that story for a little bit. So maybe there could be a change of scenery. But where do you go? Like, I know we're nonetheless looking at the player side of it, but if you're Arizona, if you get rid of Kyler Murray, you're signing up for going through the process of trying to find another quarterback. It's a nightmare.
But it's 6 years. They gave Kyler 6 years. Pittsburgh would use him. That wouldn't be a bad one.
Can I push back a little bit? I don't think he could play in that division. That's a tough division. That's a division where I think you got to have like a 6'3". It's a hard-nosed division. It's cold, cow, the weather. I don't know if he can play in that division.
Maybe there's something there. But, I mean, sink or swim. I mean, talk about something utilizing.
Yeah.
He's played road games before. He had Aaron Donald sitting there in his division alongside that dreadful 49er defensive line, too. So he's dealt with defenses. There's no doubt about that. I just think if there's a change of scenery category, if there's a quarterback at play that might need a change of scenery, I think Kyler Murray might be that one guy. Because what did we think about last year? The good change of scenery pieces are the Darnolds, the Bakers, the Saquons. Derrick Henry's another one.
Yep.
Somebody who needed a change of scenery. So you're talking about complementary position players or guys that run the team. And the run-the-team guys, the quarterbacks, are few and far between. But the other guys who are complementary pieces, that's where you could find something for. That's where you find, the edge rushers or the running backs, the Max Crosbys of the world. Jonathan Taylor, somebody who might be able to help a really good team get better tomorrow. So that's just my takeaway is you got to compartmentalize what position, what player, his importance to that team. Now, I'd make an argument that Kyler Murray's performance it was a big correlation to how the Cardinals kind of blew up towards the second half of the season when they were 6-3. So I think that he is part of the problem, but maybe he would benefit off of just changing it up, seeing if the right person can get something out of him that maybe the Arizona Cardinals weren't.
Yeah, and with the proof in the pudding of Mayfield and Darnold, that probably would be the most realistic one. Yeah, Geno is – now, I'm a little off. I'm a little over the Geno Smith thing right now in Seattle. I think they need to start moving towards a solution.
But my point is
You're right. You're totally right. And who had on their bingo card Geno Smith coming back 2 years ago, throwing for 4,000 yards and being a Pro Bowler? I totally get it. Quarterback's tricky, Kyle, as we know. Quarterback, it's very tricky.
I can listen to somebody like Kyler who's been there for 6 years, and they've kind of been punching the same bag, expecting something different. The Caleb Williams train after the amount that they're
you don't want to listen to miserable Bear fan, Colin?
I cannot let your opinion and then you chalk it up to the miserable Bear fan. You don't. I can't listen to that. I can't.
I really question if the Bears could ever get that quarterback position right. That's what I was. You're not, Colin. You're not getting rid of him. The organization's not getting rid of him. What I'm saying is, are we going to look back and go, "Wow, man, the Bears screwed Caleb Williams"? Like, are we going to look back at something like that in a couple of years? That's all I'm saying.
Well, granted, at the end of his rookie contract, he's more than welcome to go sign elsewhere, but that is 4 years down the line.
But then they got the best years out of him, and now nobody wants him.
So get comfortable. That is not the quarterback, but that's other positions. We got to roll on here. Change of scenery. Who pops to mind for you as a player, a coach, somebody who needs to just change up the scenery a little bit, get around a different surrounding, and hopefully get something different out of their career? Who is that to you? To me, I would go with the complementary position players. The Max Crosbys of the world can utilize one. Jonathan Taylor is somebody that pops to mind, trying something different with him and seeing if they could get something out of him. That would be the ones that pop to mind for me. We roll on here, 888-760-3776, live from the